Hello everybody, thank you all for joining. This is a historic day, and I'm going to go through a number of reasons why it is a historic day, why we now have a new asset class on planet Earth, why you are all early, and why Bitcoin will only go up. Now, don't worry about the short-term undulations in price, that's normal. But tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m., the cheddar starts flowing into this asset class. And the laws of supply and demand are going to crush it, and I'll explain why. And we have the halving coming up. This is just the most perfect setup. And I always said it was going to happen because the government works for Larry Fink at BlackRock. And we're going to talk about some Bitcoin unique digital scarcity. So thank you all for coming. Great show. Thanks all for being here in the chat too. Super exciting. Let's go. And I'll try not get too excited. Again, Bitcoin price is like up and down and all over the place today, but it doesn't matter. Again, wait till tomorrow. You'll see what's going to happen. And this doesn't matter anyway. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I won't waste your time, but every video you will learn something new. That is my promise. Now, I also say there's no such thing as coincidence. This is uncanny. Hal Finney, one of the key members of the team who is no longer with us. Hal, may you rest in peace. And as I say, it's no such thing as coincidences. This tweet was 15 years ago today. He was running Bitcoin. This is when the first version was less than 24 hours old. And he is a massive part of why this asset class was born. So respect to him. In addition, I said the other day, January 9th, yesterday, was a historic day because we had the initial release 0.1.0 of Bitcoin was released January 9th, went live today, and it was running with Hal. So it's no coincidence that 15 years after the birth of the protocol, when it first started to run, and this guy was making it happen, we get the spot ETF. Very interesting time. Super Soulman, thank you for coming. Now let's talk about the asset classes. This top 10 list of all the biggest assets in the world is going to change. You see at the very top, the big daddy gold, 13.6 trillion, 14.1 trillion. Everybody, numbers change, they vary from source to source. Remember that always. But number 10 on the list is Bitcoin. And I see it going up real fast, real soon. It'll take number 9. It'll overtake Meta. Then it'll overtake silver at 1.2 trillion. And then it'll overtake Nvidia, the second biggest AI company on the planet, and more. It's just a matter of time. But let's dig into all the stuff that's happening. And we knew it was live. I checked my Fidelity account first thing this morning, and I noticed this was there. It was listed. The Ark 21 shares Bitcoin ETF was in my Fidelity account. That was good. In addition, it was on the Bloomberg terminal as well. Ark was there too. So this was coming. We knew it was just a matter of time. Forget all the stuff yesterday that happened. That was just a hiccup by our government leaders. We'll talk more about government in a little while too. But really, history is made, and this is the proof of it. A lot of people still think it's fake. It's not really happening. But this is the official document from the SEC approving all 11 Bitcoin ETFs. Reuters came out about 13 minutes after Twitter. It's kind of crazy that Reuters used to be the fastest news outlet in the world. Now they're slow. If anybody wants to find out what's going on in the world, you don't pick up the Wall Street Journal or Barron's or Bloomberg or Reuters. You go to Twitter, and that's where you get the answers first. It's incredible. But Reuters did say that the 11 were approved by the SEC. So, again, for those who still think it's fake, and a lot of you still do, it's not. Today is real. And it was kind of known to be real for a long time as well. Sure, thank you so much. Now, the ETFs are trading tomorrow. All 11 of them. But there's way more to this than meets the eye. It's not just having 11 new products. It's the army of people that will be pushing these products. And because this is all over the news, you have an army of people looking for this product now. And they will start allocating. We'll talk more about allocations in a minute too. But let's talk about some of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. And you can see a lot of this happening. This is the Bitcoin futures open interest on the CME exchange. It reached a new all-time high of 36% in relative dominance. And this shows you, it was very clear, The institutions were in. They were in the derivative space, and they were buying futures before they could buy spot. This is how it works. And this is a new record as well. And you can see actually the Bitcoin shorts are going crazy now too. Bitcoin's just shy of 46k live as we speak. But there's more. Let's talk about some of the new price targets that's just hit the airwaves over the last couple of hours. First of all, Tom Lee. Huge respect for Tom. He knows his stuff. He believes the price of Bitcoin could soar to $500,000 in the next 3 to 5 years. He's from Fundstrat, by the way. And the approval of the Bitcoin ETF will lead to a demand surge for this crypto. And there is such a finite supply. And we now have a huge increase in demand with the spot ETF approval. And the price of Bitcoin, he believes, will hit somewhere between 100,000 and 150,000 this year, and in the next 3 to 5 years, $500,000. So that's exciting. And this guy is very, very, very good. Jeff Hammer, thank you for coming. Rusty Woods too. But there's more. Meltem Demiras from CoinShares, she's the CSO of CoinShares, she believes as well that Bitcoin will be above 6 figures by the end of 2024. So when you have all of these people coming out and telling you where the price is going, sometimes it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, as long as there's no manipulation of the markets, which we saw last time around. In addition, this is from Econometrics, another interesting one. It talks about the third Bitcoin halving cycle. It did come up below expectations. That's the last one. We're in the fourth halving cycle right now. But if the third cycle had followed the growth trajectory of the previous cycles, it would have easily gone from $100,000 to $300,000. And this ETF narrative is something really special because it's never happened before. And now Bitcoin is playing catch up with the expected range of the previous cycle, and it's doing that. And the halving is not even here yet. This is profound. So a lot of people thought, oh, we're going to hit maybe $60,000 in this bull run, maybe 70. No, every indicator says 6-digit Bitcoin is on the cards. And it's all because of supply and demand. So thank you as well, everybody. Now let's talk about some super bullish targets. This is from Ark Invest. Ark Invest bear case is 258 by 2030. And remember, we're in 2024, so that's only 6 years away. 260k, not bad. Base case, 682,800. That is actually very close to my base case from a couple of years ago. And 2030 bull case, $1.5 million. Remember, the dollar and fiat are debasing, and this thing is super scarce. Let's talk about some of the scarcity now as well. Short-term holders are now hodling more. These folks used to be in and out every 2 to 4, 2 to 6 weeks, sub 8 weeks, etc. But now we're in the early innings of this bull market. And these short-term holders are now know it, and they are making hodl waves. Now, these are investors who have held Bitcoin for less than 12 weeks, and they're starting to hold a bigger percentage of the supply now. It's about 14%, and the same happens each and every cycle. We obviously top out when they hold 80% of more of the supply, but the point is these are going up, as well as the long-term holders, which are growing too. Now, one of the things that makes this thing so special, not only are we going into the biggest influx of money that this asset has ever been, but it's now gone mainstream. Mainstream. Okay? This is so much I have to say, so this is going to be a big story today. But it's all exciting. This is Bitcoin issuance schedule. We are in the currently where that green arrow is, right before the halving, where the issuance changes from 6.25 Bitcoin to 3.125 Bitcoin. Half. And that's the beauty of this asset. And look at the total supply. It's flattening at the top. Another view is my little chart of Bitcoin inflation. To put it in perspective, inflation in about 90 days will go to 0.83% per year. That is harder, ladies and gentlemen, than real estate. That means it takes more than 100 years to replenish the supply. If you look at stock to flow, that is super, super, super hard. Can't stress that enough. In addition, long-term holders, these are the people, many of them. In a survey recently, 40% of them are waiting for $1 million before they'd even consider selling Bitcoin. Check this out. Long-term Bitcoin holders, again, super confident in the asset because they've been in it for a long time. They understand macro, they understand money. And this is evident by the fact that a huge percentage has not moved in all these different bands here. So the top one at 70.3% right now is the 1-year band, who have held it for more than a year. Then for more than 2 years, it's 57.4%. That's the yellow line in the middle. And then that's Bitcoin that has not changed hands in over 2 years. Then the third level in green, 41.6% of Bitcoin has not changed hands in over 3 years. And then the final purple one, over a third has not moved in over 5 years. All right. So now you got all this money coming in and they want to get access to this asset, but a lot of people are just simply not going to give it up. So they're going to be fighting over what's left. And even the short-term holders are not letting go now. They're becoming medium to long-term holders, which is kind of crazy. In addition, this is very unusual as well. 90% of Bitcoin supply is now in profit. We're 100 days from the halving. This normally happens way after the halving. So everything's going up faster, sooner. And the money is starting tomorrow. The money spigot is opening tomorrow. But this 90% Bitcoin supply and profit would typically be an alarm bell to get out, sell. But not this time around, because everything is setting up for a perfect supply crunch that we've never seen before. Very, very exciting time to be alive. In addition, this is from Eric Balchunas, who is now the superhero of Bitcoin and ETFs. But BlackRock just cut the fee on the spot ETF to 0.25% or 25 basis points, and also 0.12% for the first 5 billion. Now it has become a war to get access to as much AUM as possible. All right, this is making other assets or other mutual funds and choices look very unpopular. This will also help fuel the money flow into Bitcoin. And this is a funny little meme. Shout out to Sanjay from John Charbonneau. The last thing you want to see is a BTF issuer, but I can go lower with Larry Fink there. Good thing he's not wearing roller skates, because that could end up bad. But these low fees make even things like index funds and mutual funds, some of them, very expensive. And that's going to also help the flow of money into this asset class. Another view of what's happening too is we have this perfect storm of adoption worldwide. Now we have Bitcoin on every news network, newspaper. Everybody's scratching their heads like, what is this and do I need it? People who are never in, people who never trust themselves with self-custody, they're coming in. And they can access spot ETFs that may be issued in the US, but they can access them from all over the world. But this is from Blockware Solutions. And you can see here, we are here 2022. It's a little bit old, but the point is, it's just a pretty simple chart to show you where we are in adoption. You're all here. We will not have 10% of the earth adopting Bitcoin till 2030. Okay, that's another 6 years from now. You are early. This price, as it gets adopted, will go up. As it gets more scarce, will go up. As long-term holders increase, will go up. As money flow goes in, will go up. Everything points to this thing going to the moon. And I've been waiting for this moment for nearly 7 years. And here we are. So very exciting. Now, adoption is not just in the US. And remember, a lot of the money is in US denominated assets. If you look at the size of markets, it's crazy how one stock, I think Microsoft is the same size as the whole Canadian stock market, for example, just to give you an idea of how big the US market is. But now 10 more Bitcoin ETFs are coming to Hong Kong in the next couple of weeks. This is huge. So it's not just American ETFs launching 11 tomorrow, but it's happening all over the world. This is becoming an asset class because people no longer want to buy bonds. People are fed up with the whole 60-40 portfolio. People now realize index funds aren't going to cut it for them because 80% of the returns come from 7 stocks, etc. Now is the perfect time for this asset class. This is digital gold. Even Larry Fink himself said it without saying the word Bitcoin because he had to say crypto. He wanted to say Bitcoin, but he couldn't because they were in the process of getting approved by the SEC, which just happened literally 40 minutes ago or so. And this is another key part too. These are expert recommended allocations. There are lots of people around the world that go to their financial advisor to ask, how much should I put into this thing? I don't know. Well, Tom Lee, again, says 2%. Matt Tuttle says 5 to 10%. And David Nadig says 1 to 3%. Imagine, I think I can remember the huge amount of money held by the boomers in the US and other people that are now coming into the space, and they start allocating even just, I calculated 0.17% of what they have to Bitcoin, the price goes way into 6 digits real fast. If they start allocating 2, 3, 5, 10%, wow, that would be incredible. And they probably will, because they are chasing alpha, and there's very few alpha predators out there that can perform like Bitcoin, or has the historic record it does. Bitcoin just shot above 46,000 again, so a little flush out is gone. Now, let's talk about financial advisors around the globe. These are people that actually help people, direct them to where they need to put money. And these numbers are pretty staggering here. So the number of financial advisors per capita in Canada is 1 in 380. I had no idea it was so high. US, it's 1 in every 1,250 people. In the UK, it's 1 in 1,500. And in Australia, 1 in 1,300. Thank you so much, Boom Show, and everybody. Got some Canadians here too. D-Rock, you probably know a couple of financial advisors yourself. But the world of financial advising is vast. An estimated 3.7 million professionals globally. Now they have a new thing in their bag to push to clients, and it's called Bitcoin. I'll repeat the number. 3.7 million financial advisors are now, not all of them, but the good ones will be telling people what to allocate, and it'll be somewhere along those lines. And that's just what's going to happen. So it's crazy. In addition, we don't just have individuals with assets. We have nation states like El Salvador. And Nayib Bukele, I shared this in Okta yesterday, is now making money for his country with his Bitcoin bag, and he's now a hero. They laughed at him. There was a time during the bear market where a lot of people were put under pressure, but he held strong. Saylor held strong. A lot of people stuck to their values, and that's the key in investing. You make a plan and you stick with it. You do not vary from the plan. Getting in and out of plans is how you get destroyed, and that's key. In addition, other nation states, these guys, China and Russia, I think I covered it yesterday, they now invest, I can't remember the exact number, but 11.82 tons of gold just in the last month. What happens if China and Russia, who own, I don't know how many, 5,000 tons of gold, what happens if they start allocating a part of their gold bag to Bitcoin? The Bitcoin as an asset isn't even big enough to absorb a portion of the allocation that Russia and China make to gold every month. It's not big enough. And that shows you how small this is and how the price will go up. And his little graphic that adoption is only going up too, which will drive the price up as well. So nothing but fantastic news. And a shout out to our two heroes as well. Congrats to the haters. Some people would like to say, suck this. Even Jamie Dimon and Elizabeth Warren. They tried everything they possibly could to kill Bitcoin. Some people call it the cockroach that is Bitcoin. They couldn't do it. So, comments below as to what you'd like to say to these two people if you met them in person. But it's good. Bitcoin wins again. Again, that's the beauty of it. Them, the team that built it. It's magical. It's math. It's uncorruptible, which is why we love it. Now, that was the Bitcoin up only story. There's a few other little pieces of news I just want to share real quick, and then I'll let you go. Thank you as well for everybody for coming. Much appreciation to this whole community. But in other news, this is exciting. Stephen Weston's even there too. Stablecoin volume on Solana. This is for you, Stephen. You must have known it was coming. In my Solana black hole theory, this just came out. This is big news, and it's historic achievement for Solana. Solana set a new record by surpassing Tron and Ethereum in stablecoin transfer volume with an impressive $120.96 billion in transactions last week. And now the adoption is happening all over the world. People are doing remittances. The number of countries where this is all happening, Nigeria, Venezuela, and Turkey, the people where every penny counts are finding ways to transfer stablecoins using Solana. because it's quick and easy, and they work so hard for the little bit of pennies. So when they're remitting money, sending money in stablecoin format, it's incredible. So not only can crypto not be denied, but fiat is already dead. This will be the biggest use case, this and payments, for crypto coming, and it's already happening. It's already happening. It can't be stopped. People will sniff out better assets, better ways of doing things, better ways of moving money, better ways of making payments themselves. And it's great to see this too happening. In addition, Tesla did launch the new Model 3. It was this bit of a stealth offering. It was launched built in Asia first. Now they're building it in the US. And it does qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. The price is under $40,000. So you can get this car for about $30,000 in the US and change, or you can lease it for $329 a month, which is a great deal too. And the tax credit actually goes into the lease pricing too, which is pretty incredible. So again, this is already far cheaper than a Toyota Corolla, but it has far more luxury, far more technology and everything else than any of the car. They're going to smash it. And the Model 2 is said to be coming within a year. They've already built the line, apparently, rumor has it, and they're just going to stamp this thing out. And apparently as well, they're going to have a lot of them built before they even launch the car. So it won't be like the Cybertruck with a 4-year wait time. Anyway, more on that stuff later. In addition, the Magnificent Seven, this is kind of crazy when you think about assets and how to invest and stuff. How big is the Magnificent Seven become? Well, it's over four times larger than the Russell 2000, which is 2,000 companies in the US. And Microsoft, as I mentioned alone, is the entire size of the Canadian stock market. And we have a new asset class too, which is Bitcoin, which is super exciting. In addition, I just want to share this, how the SEC works. This is kind of like a funny thing. The SEC is now being investigated by the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Absolutely no government account should be susceptible to compromise. And what should be a trusted X account? We are incredibly concerned with cybersecurity measures of the SEC, and the letter urges an investigation. But you know what's even funnier about how government works? I somehow stumbled across this morning in my 300 article reading session. This one, the US government, the launch code for US nukes was 00000000 for 20 years. That is 8 zeros. It's kind of I wonder, did the SEC have the same password for their Twitter account? I'm not sure, but literally, the people you should trust, you can't trust. And one of my wishes for 2024 is we get into more of a trustworthy society where people will tell the truth and do the right thing, and fingers crossed, that'll still happen. Eternal optimist here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to everyone on Patreon. And a shout out as well to, and yeah, Rusty Woods says, I'm back in Patreon. So glad to be back. We're glad to have you back, Rusty. So thank you for coming. Some people drop off and then they come back. So great to have you back. And we will always be there too. So a big thank you to everybody as well in the chat, T&D Tesla and K8 for keeping us all safe and secure, keeping it a respectful and happy community. And I've never had 9,000 people watching my video live ever in my history. So thank you all. Hit the like on the way out. Appreciate each and every one of you. Again, learnings every day here. Don't forget to subscribe. And it's a historic day with a brand new asset class. And you're all early, so you're all going to win. Thank you. Bye.